Hi, I'm Kate Taylor, and welcome to my studio in Northern Ontario. My inspiration really is to capture the energy and the feeling that you feel when you're really deeply present in nature. So, unlike capturing the representation of nature, I'm much more interested in the lines and the shapes and the movement and the color and just the feeling you have when you are really deeply present in nature. Not only do I find that it's very tranquil, I think it's therapeutic for me to produce the pieces because I think nature, of course, is very calming naturally, but it also gives me a great deal of flexibility and freedom to be able to mix colors and lines and shapes in the way that I want, which is really fabulous. So because nature is so critical for me, I work with a Baltic birch panel and I stain the wood, and you can see here in graduated tones, and the wood grain itself becomes very visible and is a really important part of the piece. And that's kind of, I love the fact that you can see the wood grain coming through. You can't see it so well digitally, but you totally can see it on a real piece. I work only with a palette knife, no paintbrushes. And for me, I like the idea that a palette knife keeps it really loose and fresh. It's super hard to be tight and fussy with a palette knife. And so I'm kind of looking for that. I mix my colors on the knife, so you end up with having about 6 to 8 colors on the knife on a single knife swipe. And that really is so that each of the individual fish or flower petals is interesting in and of its own right. And that's really important to me because I want to create a piece that every time you look at it, you see something new in it. And it's not, you don't get the whole story the first time you view it. I want people to live with it and love it for the next 50 years. And that's kind of how it's important to me. Then some of my pieces I put a resin epoxy coating on after the piece is finished. And that's a very high gloss finish that flattens out all of the textural work and looks a little bit contemporary. Some people prefer it to be without the resin coating, which means you really get to feel and see the texture of the work, which is kind of one of the things about a palette knife, which makes it really pleasant. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to see more of my work, it's at katetaylorstudio.com. You can follow me on Instagram at katetaylorart. And I have a few videos that kind of show my process on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/katetaylorart. Thank you so much for your interest, and I hope to hear from you soon.